Hey guys, welcome back to our weekly live event. I go live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on IG, and I go live every Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube, answering your questions regarding finance, investing, real estate, business creation, and any problems you have with your structure, organization. I'm here to help you guys with anything finance related, so feel free to ask. It's always a pleasure. As always, people who request to go live get their questions answered first. Then I go to the comments, and then I go through the DMs or the comment section. So live face-to-face requests, comment section, and then through the or question section, then comment section. So guys, how was everybody's week? I hope everyone had a great week. As you guys know, I've had a pretty good week. You know, things have been pretty good the last week and a half. So things are coming along with the Safety Harbor project, the cottages. I've collected in the last month. I've probably collected 30,000 in rents just from the short-term rentals. Even more than that. It was a lot. It's a lot. And now we got more deals coming along, so it's going to be a good time. All right. Let's see. Hey, guys. Hey, Velcrum, Gavino. I'm going to give everybody a minute just to jump on. Again, on the bottom there's a paper plane. That means you're inviting your friends to come join the live. So if you can, please invite your friends to come join the live. The more of your friends that grow and learn, the stronger they become, stronger you become. You guys will grow together. We all grow together. EBCPA says, hey man, what do you think of investing in the ghetto? Please put that in the questions and I'll get to that question. All right. Hopefully it won't spaz on me. Hey, buddy.
Hi.
How are you?
I don't know what's going on.
You requested to go live.
I think that you know my son Leo.
Very likely.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So
Okay.
I answer business questions and real estate questions. What question do you have for us?
Yeah, we're working in the same business. So
Who are you?
buy houses, we flip, we rent. We do
Awesome.
property management.
Where do you do it?
So we're working most of all in St. Pete area.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm in Clearwater area.
Okay. I live in Dunedin.
Oh, I own a lot in Dunedin. I own a lot in downtown Dunedin.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Well, if you have anything in downtown Dunedin for sale, I'll buy it from you.
Yeah, me too.
I buy in downtown Dunedin, downtown Safety Harbor.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
And I'm not afraid of the price, so don't worry. Just let me know.
We are looking a lot here in St. Pete because, I don't know if you know, but if you're aware, but housing authority increased the rent fees, so it's good.
I know. I have Section 8 housing, and I'm getting $1,500 for a 3-bedroom. So
Here we are around 2,000 for 4 bedrooms.
That's sick. Yeah, it used to not make any sense. Before, you get a lot of money for a 2-bedroom, and then I would look at a 4-bedroom and 5-bedroom. I'd be like, you're not getting that much money. It's not worth doing business in that area and that size. But now you're getting good money for the bigger bedrooms. I'm about to buy an 18-unit complex in Oldsmar, and they're going to be all 3-bedroom, 2 baths. So I'm hoping to convert them all over to housing. And right now they're only getting $750, so I want to end up getting $1,500 a unit, and should be good money.
Yeah, Leo told me something about that.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's a good deal. So I'm excited about it.
We are trying now to change the layouts of the unit to have 3 or 4 bedrooms now. So
try to make 5 bedrooms, right? Yeah, you want to get that $2,000 a month. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Well, it's great talking to you, buddy.
Okay, me too.
And feel free if you got any deals, let me know. I'm
Okay,
always buying.
bye.
Bye.
Have a good night. Bye.
Good night. All right. They're in the same county as me. Let's see. Who else do we have out here? Remember, guys, any real estate investing, finance, business questions, whatever you have, I'm happy to answer. Hello.
Hey,
Welcome.
got my camera backwards, sorry.
All good. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
All right, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing real good. You know how I'm doing. You see everything I'm doing. So,
Yeah.
so what question do you have for us?
Well, I have a statement first off.
Cool.
I live in like a house and it's like infested with like a whole bunch of roaches and stuff, and I want to like better myself, start making a good amount of money so I can like get out of this situation. I have like 5 people living in my house right now,
Okay.
and it's only 3-bedroom house.
Okay.
So yeah. So do you have any tips for that or?
So one, if you could try to get one regarding the bugs, you can get, it's called Termidor, right? You go to a bug store, it's not the cheapest stuff, but it works. So if you get Termidor, put it on the outside, put it on the inside, you spread around all the edges, your bugs will be gone probably, most of them will be gone in 3 days. And then you do it again, probably in a month, and most all of them will be gone. 2, obviously, you guys probably know, I'm an immigrant. I did not grow up here. I did not have any money. I didn't start with anything. So, it's an advantage if you come from the bottom because you have a stronger gut and you have a more resilience when shit goes bad because you're already used to shit being bad. So when I used to have to literally clean shit off the floor,
Yeah,
I was like, all right, whatever, I'm doing it. When I see roaches all over the place and I had to clean the place out because the roaches were everywhere, I was like, whatever. I got to do what I got to do to get to the next level. I got to do this task to get to the next thing. So and it sucks when you're in it, but in the long term, it's going to benefit you. So, just keep your head up and keep working.
TikTok. You
So,
gotta make a bunch of money apparently.
so again, I started with nothing. What? Like you saw there's a post I'm going to be putting up. 10 years ago, I had issues. My immigration papers had issues, right?
Yeah.
And I got pulled over for driving with an expired license. They wanted me to go to jail for 6 months. Six
Wow.
months because of that. 10 years later, I'm a citizen. I have like $8 million in real estate. I own 3 other companies, and I'm living the best life.
Heck
So
yeah.
shit can change in 10 years. A lot of shit can change in 10 years. But what
Yeah.
is it? But again, at the end of the day, I put in 100 hours of work a week, nonstop. And again, I enjoy what I do. So find out what you like doing, put in the work, and then don't look back. Put your head down and work. 2 years later, you put your head up, you're going to see you're in a whole better place than you were 2 years ago. Put your head back down for another 2 years. Put your head back up. You'll be in a way better place than when you were. The more you put in the work, the more you're going to get the benefits. This right here is the strongest computer in the world. So you can determine that you want to succeed, and then you put in the work and the positive thinking, you will succeed. So just figure out what you want to do. That's the biggest part. What do I want to be successful at? And you go
Yeah.
from there.
Haven't figured that out yet, because I'm so young, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, it's not young. Like, you probably already know what you like. You just you haven't accepted what you like, right? Like, I always liked real estate. So when I was young, I always liked real estate. If you ask me today or back then, hey, Baskal, you're going to own all these properties and you're going to have like 40 units and this and that, and you're going to be doing these type of deals, I would have been like, no way, not a chance. But you got to sit back and say, what do you like? Do you like buying and selling things? Do you like teaching stuff? What do you enjoy doing? And just figure out that. And again, you might come back to this. Try a whole bunch of shit and figure out what you like. And at the end of the day, once it gets tough, you can't quit. Because what most people do is they quit too soon and they don't get the reward.
Never
Like,
quit. Never
you,
quit.
you can't quit. Like, so I used to ask myself when shit used to get really bad, because remember, I was around when shit was bad 10 years ago and when the market tanked. And I had like 8 empty units. And again, a whole bunch of them had roaches because people kept being dirty. And like, I would just rent a place out and fix it all up, and I would rent it to someone new. And then within a month, they destroyed the place again just because it was so dirty. And then I had to evict them again because they weren't paying the rent, and then I had to do it all over
Yeah.
again. And imagine you have like 7 or 8 of them.
That's just irresponsibility right there.
But you can't help. It's part of doing business. So my point is, shit happens, and at the end of the day, it was like, man, most people back then went bankrupt and gave up all their real estate. And I was like thinking to myself, I was like, man, this sucks. And for me, giving up all my stuff, what I worked for all those years to build up to those 23 units, I was like, man, I cannot have just focused, spent my whole life to get this to this point and then lose from here. And I'm like, well, if I quit, what am I going to be at? I'm going to be in a shitty situation anyway.
Yeah.
I might as well stay in the shitty situation I'm in and not quit and push to try to get to the better position than for me to just quit and be in still a shitty situation with nothing and fighting for nothing. I might as well keep doing it and fight for something. So, so at this point, man, I just gotta like spend your time to better yourself, right? Read the different books that I keep referring to read. Make yourself better.
What are those books?
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Okay.
Changes the way you think. How to Win and Influence People. Changes the way you talk and act towards people. You know, Think and Grow Rich also changes the way you kind of you think, but in a different way than Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Do you mind if
And
I
then
like write all these down?
You can also DM me, and I will send you the list. And last one is Intelligent Investor. That's by Benjamin Graham, which is Warren Buffett's mentor. So he wrote many books. One of the books he wrote that I think is key is called Intelligent Investor. And the last point, don't just exercise yourself mentally, exercise yourself physically. Because you have 5 pillars to your life: spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially. And you will not have happiness unless you work on all of them. Because you'll feel a deep disconnect in yourself. You won't feel whole if you not have all 5 of them worked on. Because you can have all the money in the world, but if you're not physically right, you're not mentally right, you're spiritually right, you're not emotionally right. Like you could have a bunch of shit and have a lot of friends, but if you're not like emotionally right, you could commit suicide, right? So it's like you have to have that balance. So I hope that was helpful. You have any other questions before we go?
No, I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Stick it in there.
All right. God bless, man.
God bless. Let's see who else is on the live. Let's answer some questions. Thanks for all the love, guys. I appreciate it. Remember, invite your friends. There's a little paper plane on the bottom. You can invite your friends to join. All right, trying to add. Can't join. All right, let's try this other person. You guys are awesome with all the love. I appreciate it. Let's see if we can get the next person to connect so we can answer his questions and we can all learn. So the question I see popped up while the other guy's loading, it says, do you have to refinance every 5 years when investing in commercial real estate? You are not, it's not necessary, but it depends what type of loan you get. If you get a 5-year, you could do 7, you could do 10, sometimes you can do a 30-year fixed. So it really depends on what you choose and what you want, right? And each rate, the rates are different, and it's also what you're planning. Like this new most recent deal, the Oldsmar 18, I'm gonna be probably doing a short-term bridge loan, which is like 3 years, 3-year loan, while I stabilize a property and then refinance into a long-term debt. Good question. All right, so. Hey, what's up, buddy?
What's up, bro?
What's going on?
Nothing, just kicking it.
Awesome.
Hey,
What questions you got for us?
your stuff's really inspiring, man.
Awesome, bro.
I've been following you. Yeah, it's cool.
Awesome. So where are you at? What are you looking to do? What questions you got for me? Help you
I'm
get to the
just
next
looking
level.
I'm just looking at anything in general, man. Just basic information, because I'm not big into investing or anything right now, but I'm learning slowly, and I'm trying to learn about it.
Cool. What I would say is this: for all the people that are not in it yet but want to get into it, you don't need to spend any money to get in it. So if you think if I spend this money and I'm gonna become an investor or do make a lot of money, don't. You don't need to spend any money. There's a lot of free stuff online to like practice investing online with fake money to see if you could get good at it. Before you spend any money, you should be spending a lot of time practicing, right? So I'm gonna give you an example. Like right now, I'm doing Wing Chun Kung Fu. I'm not sparring with anybody. I'm not even fighting with anyone. He doesn't want me to fight with anyone. And I've been doing it for 3 months because there's these foundational things that you have to learn that you must understand prior to even getting into the ring. So the point is this: you need to read the books that I've been suggesting. They're going to change the way you see things, because for you to become better, you need to change in a way. And you're not going to, no one's born good at it, right? You can have certain skills that you're good at, maybe talking to people so you could be good at selling. But to actually be good at selling is a learned skill. You learn it. So read the books, and they're going to help you a lot because they're going to change the way you think. Once you change the way you think, then you're going to act different. And then things that you used to do that didn't work, now you're doing the same thing and you're getting a good success. You're winning. And that's the way, because your brain changes and your way your format will change. So read those books. Plus, Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a good book. Like, it's not boring. It's actually really good to read. How to Win Friends and Influence People. These books are like not boring books. They're actually entertaining books to read, and they're actually going to help you like grow as a person.
All right, brother. That's all I got. Thank you.
Cool.
Yep.
All right, let's see. Say Abe. See what Abe has to say. What questions he has for us. Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey Baskal,
How you
great
doing?
to be live with you. Awesome, man.
Awesome. So what
So,
question you got for us, brother?
yeah, so the question I have is how do you determine the per square feet rate in a particular area, say in Tampa? Like you always talk about, this area has a good percent, per square feet rate. So, how do you know that? Or how do you verify that?
So one thing I want to start with, when you price per square foot, you're gonna just do research, right? It's the research that you see. So when you go and do research, and you can ask like a realtor for the list. I said, give me all the homes for sale in this zip code or this area, and they'll give you. You can actually get an Excel spreadsheet or a printout, and you can calculate the dollar, how many square feet there is. When I used to start, what I would do is I took everything for sale, and I saw how many square foot, and I was like, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna buy the lowest dollar per square foot, thinking that was a good way to do it. And it was kind of good because I would get the best dollar per square foot. But if something's really cheap dollar per square foot, that could be because it's not remodeled. So you also then have to learn the next level of thinking is, what is the condition?
Mm-hmm.
After you find that out, then I started realizing, well, just because it's big square footage and I can remodel it doesn't mean I'm going to make the most money. So then I started going for, okay, where's the most money I get, the most the most money I get for my investment? What's the best return I get for my investment?
Mhm.
After that point, then I realized, man, I'm not getting as much money as I would like from that, because it doesn't still not is not the best option, because now I'm spending a lot of money as I'm buying more expensive properties, but not getting the best bang for my buck. My rental rate is not as great.
Mhm.
So then I finally realized this. I need to find where's the most value add property. This way I can find a great area that has great rent amounts, but it needs work, so I can buy it at a cheaper price,
Mhm.
add the value, and increase the rents. So now I'm getting high cap rates in a good market with low risk,
Mhm.
because everybody wants to be there, and it's high income, not low income. Because if you want high cap rates and that's the best high rent amount, high cap rate, and the a very low dollar per square foot, you could buy a lot in St. Pete. You could buy a lot in Clearwater, but then you're buying in the hood. So then you're like, well, who cares if I'm buying in the hood? Well, one, a lot of people end up being slumlords because they don't fix anything, so they can continue making their high rents. The problem with that is, I don't know, I don't like the idea of being a slumlord, right? I want to have nicer properties, cleaner properties that I can give someone something nice. The
Right.
problem is then a lot of maybe your tenants are great, but not everybody else in the neighborhood is great, so they can destroy your stuff. And then you got to spend money. So you get a high cap rate, but then you're actually spending all your money fixing the property. So you have to make sure that you're vetting your tenants and you're vetting the people around your street, because you could have a good street in a bad neighborhood and you could be fine, which I've actually had a lot of properties like that and made a lot of money. Um, so that's the other factor. So if you do value add, usually that's how you can get the best bang for both, you know.
Okay.
So that's the way I kind of see it.
Okay, and for rent, do you follow any certain like particular website where you verify the rents are like, okay, this area has, duplex rent of say 600 or 700. How do you know that, or how do you verify?
Basically, what I'll do is I'll go to Zillow and I'll go on the map.
Okay,
I
the
go to
rent.
Zillow and I go on the map, and then I say, show me what's for rent.
Mm.
I go to Realtor and go on the map. Show me what's for rent. I go on Craigslist and I go on the map and I say, show me what's the rent. So then when I pinpoint an area, I'll do a small radius.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do a very small radius and I'll see what is competition renting for. Then I check what the pictures look like, because then
Mm-hmm.
you can know this is the price range for the condition. Because each condition you'll be like, wait a minute, why is this one 600 and this one's 850?
Right.
Now when I was a kid, because I'm a foreigner, I was a kid, and I'd be like, who the hell's gonna pay $850? They're
Right.
gonna rent this $600 one. And then I realized when I got older, a lot of people will pay the $850,
Mm-hmm.
right? You buy a place and you put in $3,000, and you'll make back the $3,000 in 2 years by the value add, and you added $15,000 in resale value. A lot of people will pay the extra money. And that's what I do. I find that the properties that can be added value with an area that's willing to pay for it. Because what the other part of this is, if you, don't get me wrong, if you go into a low income area and you do a lot of value add, some people will really like it. Actually, everybody will really like it. The problem is they can't afford it.
Mm.
So you have to see what do they want it and they can afford it. And then try to mix in where they can take care of it. Because some areas they can do both, but they can't take care of it. So you have to make sure that you build your properties out in a way where the tenants can maintain it, and you're not like having issues with like constantly fixing things and changing things because they're just gonna beat it up.
Right. And about the mortgage companies, which any particular mortgage company in Tampa that you suggest, which will have like, a good rate or something?
Just use any mortgage company, to be honest. Just go out and shop your rate. Again,
Mm-hmm.
all rate is not the same. Everyone charges different fees and different points and different whatever. And some people are like, no origination fee, but there's a blah 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 fee. So check your fees and check your rate. But if you go to a broker,
Uh-huh.
he's gonna find you a good deal, right? Like, you know,
Yeah, but like percentage wise, what is a good percentage from a mortgage firm? What do you suggest?
for an investor loan,
Yeah, like
with like
say residential.
residential investor loan,
Yeah.
non-owner occupied,
Yep.
20% down. You could
Yep.
probably get, you'll get probably like in like 4.5, 4.25.
Okay, not bad. That's a good one, right?
It's
4.25.
very cheap.
Okay. Yeah,
And
because I had no idea about this, and I'm very
that's cheap.
curious
And then
curious to
and a
know.
cash out refi, you're gonna get like 5.
Okay, what if I pay 25% down payment? Can I challenge my mortgage company saying like, hey, I'm putting not 20, I'm putting 25% down. So can
You
you reduce the interest rate?
you could, but just think about what you just said.
Hmm?
You're gonna lower your interest rate 0.25 of a percent for
Mm-hmm.
an extra 5,000. It's 5%. So on a $300,000 property, you're gonna spend an extra $15,000
Mm-hmm.
to save 0.25 of a percent on the rest of the balance. Like your ROI is like so negligible. You
Mm-hmm.
should save that money and buy a second deal.
Okay, that's actually right. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah, because remember, at the end of the day,
Hmm.
it is your net difference that matters, right?
Hmm.
It doesn't matter what anybody else in the world does because they don't matter. Only you matter, right? So when you're doing it, you got to see what is the net difference for me on making a decision, and what is the net difference for me when I don't spend this money, and then add it with another group of money, another 60,000, so that's another 45,000, and buy another deal.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a significant higher return on investment
Hmm. And
than
yes.
than putting it down on that. Plus, remember, if
Uh,
you watched my video and go back and look at my older videos, you're gonna see where is the money made in real estate. Do you make your money on the rent, or do you make the money on the appreciation?
appreciation, I believe.
You make the 80% of your money in usually appreciation. That's the big
Right.
money, right? So
Right.
if you're making let's just not the 80, 50% of your money is in the appreciation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you then, instead of paying down on a $300,000 property, how about you get another $300,000 property? You're going to get way more money.
Right.
The numbers are probably going to work out like you're going to probably get 6 to 8 times your return
Mm-hmm.
by buying another unit than paying down that loan. That's why I don't pay down my loans, because inflation rate is 3% is stated. I think it's higher than that. If I'm getting a loan for 4, that means I'm only borrowing money for $1. And by having loans, I'm hedging against the dollar. That's a hedge play. So I'm getting a hedge against the dollar by having loans.
Mm-hmm.
And the asset's appreciating, the dollar is depreciating. So you're netting out winning.
True. True. That's a great advice. And the closing cost in the like in the States, I seen like it revolves around the calculators are available online for closing cost and all these general like concepts. But when I see that some realtors say that it is 3% of the deal, is that right? Closing costs?
I'm gonna say it's gonna be like $5,000, $3,000 to $5,000 for a deal that's under like $500,000.
Okay.
And usually it doesn't get cheaper than $3,000, even if you only buy $100,000 property, because there's like fixed cost and
Okay.
fees.
Okay. Okay. So that is always negotiable. It's not
No,
3%, which I read
no,
online.
it's not negotiable. There's certain fees that are minimums. There's
Okay.
certain things there's a minute, like appraisal. You're paying at least $300 for an appraisal, period. You buy a $1 million home or you buy a $100,000 condo. You're spending $300.
300 for appraisal is standard.
A standard. So it doesn't. That's why a lot of times when I was telling people, I was like, look, $100,000 deal. It's actually easier to do a $700,000 deal because your cost is the same.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I want to buy one condo. I said, no, it's going to be cheaper for you to buy a 4 unit because you're spreading your expenses over 4. You're spending your maintenance over 4, not 1 unit. It actually becomes cheaper.
Mm-hmm. And who pays the closing fee? Is this the buyer or is this?
It's mostly the seller pays most of the closing fees, but a buyer does pay some. Like the buyer pays all fees associated to them getting a loan.
Oh, seller pays the closing fee?
Some of the closing fee, like title insurance, they pay most of the title insurance, even though the benefit goes to the buyer.
Okay, this is totally unknown to me. I mean, I was expecting closing fees is paid by buyer.
Some is by the some. It depends what fee it is.
So how can you elaborately describe that?
So any fee associated to getting a loan is paid by you.
Okay. Okay.
But title insurance is mostly paid, like the split on the cost of title insurance is mostly paid by the seller. The buyer pays some, but most of it's paid by the seller. I'm going to say like 70-30.
70-30 of title insurance.
Roughly, yeah. I'm not giving you exact numbers, but I'm just giving you
just
numbers.
I'm just figuring out like how does it work. So this is a good information. So seller pays closing fee all the time.
Seller pays most of the closing fees and pays like the title insurance. Most of the title insurance. The buyer pays all fees associated to that or getting a loan. But when you buy a deal, this is another tip. When you're buying a deal, sometimes I'll go and I'll buy the property and I'll go and they say, I want 200,000. And I'm like, okay, I'll give you 200,000. Then I review the property and I'm like, hey, you got like $10,000 in deferred maintenance. You know, these things you're going to have to fix these things. Everyone's going to ask you to fix these things. Just give me $10,000 off. And the seller will be like, okay, we'll give you $10,000 off. Now, most people will say, lower the sale price to 190. I won't ask that. I'll say, give me 10,000 towards closing, which means I still buy it for 200, but they credit me $10,000. So that means less money I have to bring to the table because it goes towards my closing costs and goes towards my down payment.
Right. So you as a buyer, you did not pay the 10,000 closing fee. You told them to pay.
No, I told them, give me a credit. It can go towards anything that I feel like paying.
Credit meaning as a cash or?
Yes, as cash.
Okay, after the deal. And who pays that cash? The broker? Or?
No, the seller does.
Oh, so that you can literally ask them like, hey, give me that money.
Hey, instead of selling, you're asking for 200, there's $10,000 worth of deferred maintenance. And most people will say, lower your sales price to 190. I won't ask them to lower their sales price. I'll say, keep it at 200, but give me $10,000 as a credit. Now, when I have to come to the closing table with, say, for example, $60,000 with 20% down, that's $60,000. Well, I will only have to come with 50,000 because they gave me 10.
What if the buyer rejects that and he's like, okay, that was not written on contract?
Most of the time it works. Most of the time it works. And it must be a legitimate reason, though. You can't just say, give me 10,000 because I want it. You're going to say, look, you can tell your roof is bad and you're going to need to change it in 5 years. Your AC is bad. You're going to have to change it in 5 years. All these things are going to have to be changed, and the total cost is going to be $30,000.
Right.
How about this? You give me $10,000 as a credit because you know I'm going to have to spend $30,000 in the next few years.
Right.
And they'll say, okay, you know what? I'll give it to you. This way it puts more cash in your pocket to fix everything that needs to be fixed.
Right. What if the property is perfectly good in shape and I just want to take that money because I did not negotiate, seller price? Suppose they quoted some price, say $500,000 on Zillow, and I'm buying that property. What's
cool with real estate is you can say whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. You can say anything you want. But the thing is like, you got to understand where you're at. Like, okay, so I used to do that before. Now, when I go to a deal, I'll be like, oh, you're asking $130,000? I'll give you $140,000 right now, sign the paper. Because if I got a good deal that I'm going to make $100,000 on, a lot of people will go and negotiate cheaper. I want to get it even cheaper. Fuck that. I'll give me the 30,000 profit. I'll take it. Go. You can have 10,000 extra. Give it to me.
Yeah.
Right? So there's times when you got a sick deal, or you got a high demand area. You most of the time it goes into a bidding war. I don't want to
Yes.
go to war. I'm going to give you a gift. Here's 10% more. Give it to me. We won't even waste anybody's time. Here's 10% more. Sign it right now. Let's
Yeah.
finish, and we'll move on.
Yeah, I'm kind of into similar mindset. Like if a deal is very good and you can't afford to lose it, so is such negotiation of closing fee on the day of closing, is it worth it, or you just
It's
pay
on
out
the
of
day.
pocket?
It's usually not the day of closing. Usually it's during your inspection period.
Okay,
You have about a 10-day inspection period, and you'd bring it up
okay.
at that time.
To the broker or to the
Well, to the broker
seller?
that would bring it to the seller.
Got it, got it. That's a gem of knowledge again. Thank you.
Yeah, don't worry. All of these things
Hmm.
add up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, that's a lot of different ways you can profit, and a
Yeah,
lot of ways, not just profit, but even if, you know, it's not about profit, it's about, you said, I want to put down 5% more.
hmm.
Well, I'm saying, no, I'm going to try to put down 5% less. Because now, every 5% less I put down, I can get 20 times my money on.
Yeah,
Remember? Because if you're now, all you have is, say, $35,000. All right, everybody, let's hear this. Let's hear this one part out. Right? Let's make believe you have $65,000. $65,000 down payment for an investor that's 20% down plus closing costs can get you a $300,000 property. But if you can find somebody that's selling a property for $400,000 and willing to give you a seller credit of $20,000, right? Saying, hey, buddy, I'll pay you $400,000, but you know your property needs a lot of work, and everyone's going to ask you to go down. Don't go down. Give me a seller credit of $20,000. Now your $65,000 can buy you a $400,000 property. And
true.
where is the money at? Appreciation. So if you have a larger base, $1 million appreciates faster than the low dollar amounts. So this is where the problem is with a lot of Americans. I'm going to try to buy the cheapest house I can. And when I buy the cheapest house I can, I'm going to save money on my mortgage, my taxes, my insurance. I'm going to save money everywhere. That's a bad way to think. Because you did save money in this investment you bought, but the problem is where you lost money. You lost money because appreciation's where all the profits at. So now your $100,000 assets only going up $3,000 a year, where my $1 million assets going up $30,000 a year.
Yeah. And how to defend my say closing cost, or the seller credit that I'm asking for.
Yeah,
Say I'm asking for 20,000, as you said,
yeah,
during the inspection period. So how
yeah.
will I defend? Like say everything was fine, but I just have to put some legit reason. I will say I want the closing cost to be covered by a seller. So is that a legit way?
Just well, the close. Like remember, at the end of the there's loan costs, also miscellaneous closing costs that are obviously loan costs part of the closing costs. All those fees are there, right? And
Hmm.
then there's also your down payment. So you
Hmm.
could just say seller credit. It can be spent on anything you want. It basically just means you bring less money to the table.
Got it. And I do not pay that money to the mortgage company.
You
That
don't,
much
because
of
remember, you were in this deal. You were going to come for a $300,000 property. You were going to come with 65,000.
right.
If the seller gives you a $10,000 credit,
Hmm.
all you come up with is 55,000.
Perfect.
So now the
That's
10,000 is in your bank account, and you use that $10,000 to fix the things you told them were
yeah,
broken.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
You just lighten up my bulb.
Yeah, when I started hearing these different things, I was just like, wow, wow, wow.
Yeah,
These are more ways I can make more money. And at first
yeah.
you're like, how are you making money in this? And then when you realize how you make money and the different ways you play the game, you can
Mm-hmm.
realize that, wow, there's a lot of money to be made if you strategize properly and you execute.
Absolutely, absolutely. I will not take much of your time. I will give chance to somebody else to go live or ask questions. I can DM you always. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
you're welcome. Good luck.
Good luck. Thanks.
All right, lots of good questions there. All right. Sellers credits. Sellers credits are huge. You can get way more money in a deal if you do that. All right. Wow, it's already 9:45. Why would people want a course when they can get a live call with you twice a week? You know, you need books, you need videos, and you need coaching. Because a lot of times people are calling and talking to me and they're asking me questions. Most of the questions they're asking are not the right questions. And if I give them an answer to a question that they don't ask, 99.9% of the people do not absorb it. They really don't. Like most people, most of my friends and family are not doing what I'm doing. They're not copying what I'm doing, right? You just literally copy and paste what I'm doing and you're going to be able to get the same results. But they're not. I believe there's a lot of underlying pieces of information that has not registered and has not been like put together in this puzzle that I see. And a lot of times when I look to these super successful people, I'd be like, all right, they're trying to tell me something, but something's not clicking in my head. I'm missing something because they're like wowed and I'm just like, I don't get it. So a lot of times what I'll do is like, I'll move forward in faith and be like, I'll get it later. Even like, for example, when I'm doing Wing Chun, like some of the stuff I'm doing, I'm like, I do not understand why you're making me move my hands in this format. And then he'll throw a punch at me and I'm like blocking it and I'm like, oh shit, I got that. It's really sick. So, but you move forward in faith. So the point is, the videos you would get are going to be like, I think what they're asking for is foundational videos where they can watch these foundational videos so they can understand these concepts and then come and ask the questions. It's kind of like going to, in college, if you came to class and you didn't read the book, you don't understand what's really going on. You're not learning. You're just hearing cool shit and you're leaving and you forgot everything. But if you actually read the book before you come to these live events and then ask the questions that are going to tie into what you learned from reading the book or watching those videos, you're going to have a true knowledge for you to act. Because I'm assuming the people that are asking for these courses don't want to keep on just hearing this shit. They actually want to do this shit, right? Like my buddy, he literally read every single real estate book and all the different stuff, but never went to events and never did anything. But never did anything. He actually didn't do any deals. I'm like, yo, you know more about real estate from all these books than I do, because I haven't read that many. I read like 3 or 4. But I actually went out and did this shit, and then I took the stuff I read from the book and asked the investors and said, this is what I read. How do I apply this? And that was what built me the knowledge and the confidence enough to go and do it. But, you know, it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and all of it together makes something. So like me right now, right? I'm going to go to the ClickFunnels events at the end of this month. It costs like $3,000 or something. It's for like 2 days. And I'm going for a reason, because I hear that it's good. And a lot of people say it's good. And my friend bought it and I looked at it and I'm like, okay, I'm missing something here, right? So what does it come down to? I'm going to go in person. I'm going to pay $3,000. I'll pay for the hotel, the flight, and all that other shit. And I'm going to immerse myself to be like, what is everyone so hyped about? Because I'm missing something right now. I'm not getting it. And I want to get it. And I'm not going to hold myself back by like being too cool to be like, whatever, it's stupid. No, if everyone's saying it's good, there's something good about it, and I'm the one that's missing something. I can't act like I'm too cool. No, I'm the one that's not getting it. I need to go figure this out, and I'm going to have to pay whatever it takes, because my $3,000 is nothing compared to the millions of dollars I could make from learning this new skill. So, all right, guys, let's see. Let's answer a couple more questions. Question here from the CPS is, what do you think about renting in the ghetto or areas that don't appreciate as quickly as gentrifiable areas? So what happens is you get, the reason there's high cap rates in the hood, and I used to invest a lot in the hood, I used to live in the hood, is that no one wants to buy there. Most people are trying to leave there. And because of that, there's no resale, right? It's supply and demand. If people don't want to buy it, there's no demand, you're not going to sell it. Now people need somewhere to live, so they end up living there. That's how you get the high cap rates. But most people don't keep the property fixed up, so there's high repair costs, and also people don't have a lot of money in there, so there's high vacancies and evictions. So you end up having to do a lot of work. So if you are willing to do a lot of labor, then you'll do good in those areas. Otherwise, you won't, right? I was making a lot of money in my properties in the South Side. The problem is I was always in the South Side fixing something or making sure someone paid the rent. It became a headache. All right, so we're almost up. So when to set up your LLC? You should set up your LLC prior to buying the property is the best time. But if you already bought the property, you can set up your LLC and then do a quick claim into the LLC's name options. But make sure on your mortgage, the mortgage that you got, make sure you don't have a clause that says they're going to accelerate your loan if you transfer it into a company name, which means they're going to say, you owe me all the money right now because you transferred the property into an LLC's name. If you tell your mortgage broker up front you're planning to do that, he'll put you with a company that's gonna allow you to do that. So now, a lot of people were asking me to give information on the Oldsmart 18 because they've been wanting more information regarding that property. So the Oldsmart 18, this is what I found out so far. And the rents are currently $725 a month per unit. Super low. That's $12,000 a month from those units. Again, very low. Taxes and insurance are pretty high. Taxes are $23,000. Insurance is around $15,000. So property is currently selling at a 5 cap, $1.75 million. What I know I can do, because I've already done this, is down the street I own a duplex. One unit is renting for $1,400, another one's renting for $1,525. So what I'm planning to do is buy the property, do the same remodel I did on my other property, and increase rents from $725 a month to $1,450 a month, doubling the rents, causing obviously the property value to go up. I've already contacted the broker I'm working with on this deal. I'm going to be able to get a loan for 20% down for the purchase, and they're going to cover the renovations budget. I just have to put 20% of the renovation budget as well. I'm going to be able to get between 5 and 7% interest-only loan for a 3-year period while I rehab the property and get it up to current rents. So it's called stabilizing the property. Once the property is stabilized, the rents are going to be basically double. I'm going to be bringing in about $25,000, $24,000 a month in rent. Should be more than that. Yeah, I think so. But anyway, $24,000 is from my memory. At $24,000 for memory, taxes are going to go up a little bit. Insurance actually should go down since I've made the properties better. Water, sewer, and garbage is already paid by the tenants. I now have, at a 5 cap, made the property worth $3.5 million at a 1.7 purchase at a $450,000 rental budget. So I'm winning. So that's the type of stuff I've been working a long time to get to. I'm finally here. And basically says, TM says, please accept steps for hard money to burr. I just explained how I'm going to basically hard money to burr this property. Buying at $1.75 million, investing $450,000, getting a loan for basically they're going to give me a loan for 80% of both. I only have to put down 20% of each. Then after it's stabilized, which because it's 18 units, it's not like a 3-month process. It's going to be more like a 1.5-year process. During that process, I'm going to do a cash out refi, pay off the first loan, get the property stabilized. The new interest rate I should be at is like 3.875 on a 30-year mortgage for an 18-unit property. Yeah, big money, big deals, and this is the start. Hopefully, my goal by the end of the year is to do a $10 million deal. That's my goal. So this is my first deal. This is my first 7-figure deal. All my other deals were like under $1 million. I've added a value and made them worth more. This is my first 7-figure deal, 1.75 million, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I'm actually looking at a 181 unit building property in Clearwater, and for 16 million. So that looks pretty good too. So we'll see how that goes. So Ali says, can you please answer my question? What's your question, Ali? How did you get started in real estate? Wholesaling? No, I did not start with wholesaling. I did it, in my opinion, the most conservative way, which is I worked a normal job, making $8 an hour, $8 to $12 an hour, saved up my money, and put down 20% on a deal on a multi-unit property, lived on one side and rented out the other. Now, you don't even have to put down 20% nowadays. You only have to put down 3.5% down to get into a multi-unit deal. You live there, you fix it up while you're living there, really nice and slow, easy, conservative, no sweat. You start paying hard money interest only day one. Christopher says, speaking of goals, how do you set your goals? How do you hold accountability? How often do your goals adjust or change? Have long-term goals and have short-term goals. And basically, you break down your goals backwards. You say, I want to be here. How long is it going to take me to get here? 5 years. Okay, where should I start doing by 4, by 3, by 2, by 1? Okay, well, how can I get to 1 at the end of the year? By the months, and you break it down. And you should have multiple different goals to get to where you want to go. Reading, exercising, spiritually, emotionally, and financially. This way you can build your life all the way around so you're not strong in one area and really weak in another and still be unhappy. How do you start in real estate? Do you need a degree to start in real estate? No, you do not. You could just basically start. I don't have a degree. I am not a realtor. I don't have a real estate license. I find properties and I buy them. My real estate renting property process is basically find a property that can make good money on rent and then rent it out. I do not rent houses because they do not make good money on renting or condos. I normally buy multi-unit properties because you can divide the expenses over multiple units and it's cheaper. Like right now, I'm cutting the lawn of the Safety Harbor cottages. I'm spending $100. $100 divided by 16 units. That's cheap. Bug spraying for inside and outside is $100 for the 16 units. Cheap, right? Like all these expenses are divided over 16 units. I spent $28,000 in I think it's $28,000 and yeah. Total roofs would be $40,000 for all 16 units. That's $4,000 a roof. That's really cheap. So you can see that like when you divide these expenses over multiple units, it's very, very cheap. And when you're doing it on a 4-unit, you can make a lot of money that way. Because you're basically saving money, and the more money you save, the more money goes in your pocket. What's the youngest age you can start in real estate? 18. Do you believe or Ovid by the 50% rule? I don't know what that rule is. George says, what debt to equity ratio does the bank want to think that you are not over leveraged. So the bank usually wants for an investor at least 20% down. On a cash out refinance, they usually they don't give you more than like 70, loan to value. Bro, you have given the most knowledge and real estate advice. We appreciate you, man. Thank you, Corey. How can I help you? Video editing. I think that's probably the biggest thing I need help with right now is video editing. Do you know any hard money lenders in Indiana? If you DM me, I can get you in contact with the largest hard money lender in the country, and they do deals all around the country. Usually they can, if you're an established investor, they'll fund you for 90% of the purchase and 90% of the rehab. So you only have to have 10% out of pocket. What's the easiest and fastest way to start business credit? Basically, get a business credit card in your personal, in the business name, and personally guarantee the credit card. If you only put down 3.5%, will you get higher interest? Yes, you will pay higher interest, and you'll also pay private mortgage insurance. But that's not going to matter because it's not the amount of interest you pay. What matters is what is the return on your investment, right? How much money are you getting back for the amount of cash you put into a deal? Like, who cares if the bank's making money too? Let them make money. Everyone should make money, but you're also going to make money, and that's what matters. Don't worry about, like, a lot of people I hear talk about interest rates and this and that. That doesn't matter. Only thing that matters is, are you making money on this deal? Are you making money on your money? You are? Good. Pros and cons of an LLC versus an S Corp. So, let me clarify. I think I've mentioned this before to you guys. An LLC is the way that the state views your entity. That's the legal aspect of your company. S Corp is the taxation. So, an LLC can be an S Corp, can be a Schedule C, or can be a C Corp, or can be a 1065 partnership. All are LLCs because the way you're taxing yourself has nothing to do with the formation of how you're going to be treated by the state. Those are the differences. All right. Good questions, guys. What is the biggest advice for upcoming businessmen? It is it's a marathon. It's a marathon. So you got to be prepared to go and do the 25 miles or however many miles a marathon is, because it is a marathon. You are putting in, 100 hours a week for X number of years. And it's okay. That's why you need to love what you're doing, because then you won't be mad. If you are in a business and you hate it, you're always going to be thinking about exit strategy. And, if you're in a business and doing exit strategy, you're probably going to be you're going to be burning yourself out. I am willing to study and enhance what I already know. Good. How can you start on real estate? Basically, study your market. If you study your market, you'll be knowing what to buy and sell. That's why I can know and go and offer more money than what someone's asking for a property. That's why I can go and offer a lot of money for a property that isn't making a lot of money in rent, because I know what it can make in rent. So by you studying your market and know what the options are, know what the rents go for the area, you know what you're able to do. Did you ever consider investing in UK or Spain? In UK, yes. I actually have a friend that owns a lot of property in the UK, and I was thinking one day I might go there and invest with him. But he owns a lot of property, he's making good money. Do engineering, what is the recommendations for learning about real estate? How you doing? Read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and then study your market. What are the things to do to get a good deal from a hard lender as a new investor? Not much. because you're a new investor. You don't have much leverage, you know. I have leverage because I have a lot of experience behind me. But if you're new, your issue is them to even give you money. Because they're like, we don't want to give you money. You have no experience. You're going to probably lose all our money. So normally you got to just suck it up